Protein is a really important part of our diets, but at the moment we're eating about twice as much as we need to, and quite a lot of that is coming from meat. Globally, meat and dairy consumption is set to double by 2050, which is loads, and it could put a lot of pressure on the environment, costing about 1.6 trillion in cleanup and healthcare costs. A while ago, we went to investigate men, meat and the protein myth and find out a little bit more about our Hubbub trial, which was challenging gym buffs in Swindon to halve the amount of meat that they were eating. There's a preconception, especially in the gym world, that you need to eat a lot of meat to stay ripped and muscly. So the challenge to these guys was to keep up their muscles while halving the amount of meat that they were eating. They were given a recipe plan, a body composition before and after to see what their body fat was like, if their endurance had improved, and they were also given a fitness tracker so that they could find out if they'd improved in any way. The trial is now finished, so today we are off to meet the guys to see how they found it and to see if they've got any top tips for how we can reduce our meat consumption.
Overall, it's been really useful. Before, I was predominantly a meat eater. Because I'm predominantly a runner, I train twice a day, so I needed to kind of get the right balance between protein levels, carbohydrate levels, as well as all the exercise I do. So at first I was a bit skeptical, I'm going to be honest. So my performance has gone up, my weight's gone down, but my muscle quality has gone up as well. So some really positive results.
Has that had an impact on kind of how often you can train?
Yeah,
how often you pick up a little niggle or an injury?
See, before, because my injury proneness was quite high, it usually took like 2-3 days to kind of recover. It now only takes a day, 2 days to recover, so it dropped half. So actually, and I haven't noticed much injury actually. Is what I used to get a strain every couple of weeks. Now I don't really get injuries that much, which is fantastic.
I compete for like county and club with running, and I wanted to see a bit more of a nutritional plan around if I do eat something different, how will that affect me when I race? I would always eat meat, and I was a real big meat eater. And
it's been the hardest thing about cutting out some of that meat?
The hardest thing is cutting it all up with the veg. It's probably a little bit cheaper. Obviously you have to shop more often. You can make massive pots and freeze the food just like you do with meat. Best thing about it is you never get food poisoning from it. So I'm really enjoying all the healthy vegetarian food now. I don't feel like I want to eat meat.
So you're going to carry it on past the trial?
100%, yeah.
Have you found a new favourite dinner, a favourite veggie dinner?
Yes, vegetarian lasagna. It destroys the meat version completely.
I'm into my fitness. I like to think I'm quite conscious of what I put in my body. So I thought this would be a nice little way to mix things up a bit.
Have you found anything difficult?
Yeah, I have actually, and I think it's the social aspect. It's going out, it's having meals with, friends and family. You've almost got to kind of really think about where you're going and whether they've got menus to cater for it. And I don't know if there's some sort of placebo effect going on, but I have felt that it has made me feel a bit healthier, look a bit healthier. I feel like my skin's a bit clearer. I feel like I've got a bit more energy in the mornings. Yeah, and that's the brilliant thing, I think, from this challenge, is that the scope was narrow in that you had to just reduce your meat consumption by 50%. But as a result of doing that, as you say, I've become so much more conscious of what I'm putting in my body and how I'm treating my body that it's got all these, fantastic other benefits. No, the results were largely unchanged. She said I've built a bit more muscle mass, and that's just because I've been in the gym a bit more. Weight is largely unchanged. Loss of body fat in my arms, largely unchanged down there. And my body fat overall is unchanged. Next time you look at your plate, just actually before you eat it, just look at how much before you've taken the Instagram picture. Just try and look and just see how many colours you got on there. And I think you'll be surprised at how few are on there. A diet before was, I'd say, sporadic. I wasn't looking at how much protein was on the plate, how much fat or carbs were on the plate. It was a lot of convenience food. Now I plan a bit more. Now I make meals a bit larger so that there's some left over for tomorrow, or so I can freeze some. I think it was very clever to call it a challenge. And I know it might have had something to do with the fact that you were targeting men for this and you maybe thought it was the right language for that.
So overall I put on some muscle, which is good. So I've lost a few inches off my waist. All about colour. Like the dishes are so much more bolder and vibrant. I think now I've got more of a kind of a spring in my step and a bit more energy. When you have a challenge, you set your mind to it. and it's something you want to achieve, and you want to get results at the end of it. It takes a lot of planning, but once you get into the habit, and it's all about changing those habits, if you can have someone at home that does it with you and helps you, that's even better. Don't do it for one day and expect the results. Like, keep going at it, you know, a couple of 2-3 weeks and you'll start to see the difference.
Do you have any top tips for anyone who is looking to reduce their meat consumption or is thinking about doing the same kind of challenge?
Yeah, I'd say find kind of a basis shopping list that you're going to stick to. It's really, really helpful, trust me.
I'm absolutely passionate about the phytonutrient power of plants. Anyone who's worked with a plant-based diet will understand that it takes a bit more effort. You know, to be a good vegetarian, to be a good vegan, you do need to spend a little bit of time meal planning, thinking about what you're putting together, making sure that you've got enough different sources of proteins. Men in the main feel that meat is necessary to build muscle.
And do you have any top tips for anybody who's looking to move to a more plant-based diet or cut down their meat consumption in some way?
You can have a really good plant-based diet without having to be totally vegetarian. You can cut down your meat consumption, and you can, make sure that at least half your plate is filled with vegetables. Make sure that you're eating a rainbow every day. So nature provides us 6 colours in its palette, and each of those colours delivers a whole different set of phytonutrients. Phytonutrients are basically the plant chemicals, so the things that make carrots orange. All of those colours actually deliver us some really useful chemicals that help us to stay healthy.
The thing that I took away from speaking to all of the guys was that they loved a challenge, pushing their bodies to the limit and trying something new was something that all really worked for them, as well as diets not being too prescriptive. They didn't feel like they had to go all in, they found what worked for them and their taste buds and what fit into their lifestyle. Amazingly, all of the guys who took part in the trial said that their well-being had improved, so they had more energy, they were feeling less drowsy and they were sleeping better, which is all a win. And that's probably because, as well as eating more plant-based foods, they took the challenge as a chance to have a kind of MOT of their lifestyle and find out what other habits they might be able to improve. If you want to get the glow of the guys who took part, maintain your muscles or help the planet, then this is your chance to take up the challenge. If you head to our website, you'll find everything that you need to take part, as well as some super tasty recipes. The favourites were a Thai curry, a 3-bean chili and protein balls, so why don't you go home and give them a try? And if you've been inspired to get involved, then let us know, comment below, or you can use the hashtag #MeetYourMatch to let us know how you're getting on with the challenge. Good luck with the challenge, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you all in a couple of weeks' time.